Good morning and welcome to Innovate Caffeinate. We're so excited to have you here today. As you can see by my background, we are showcasing in Hopkins County, Innovate Caffeinate, Christian Callaway County, and Murray County. Sorry, Christian County and Murray Callaway County. And you will also see a new logo behind me, which is our Grow West. And so those of you who have been who have known about West Kentucky Rise, that name has changed and we are now Grow West Kentucky. So thank you to all of our sponsors here in Madisonville. We're excited to have Hancock Bank and Campfire Roasters as sponsors. And speaking of Campfire Roasters, we do have a giveaway today. So please share the live stream and your name will then be entered in to get a free bag of Campfire Roasters coffee. So thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Melanie Tapp. I'm one of the organizers for the Hopkins County Innovate Caffeinate. And today I am joined by James Carr Trice. He is from Madisonville and has recently opened up his own brick and mortar barber shop called Mug and Brush. And so James, we are so excited to have you today.
Thank you guys so much. I'm honored to be on here to join.
Those of you who are watching, we're doing a little bit different of a model today. So you're going to see James and I talk back and forth versus some of the things that we've done in the past. We did a model like this recently and it went really well. And we had hoped to do that today, but we wanted to keep everyone safe and we were afraid that you would not be able to hear us as well from behind masks. So instead, you're going to get to watch both of us on the screen today. So James, I'm just going to start with, you are a barber in Madisonville. For those people watching from other parts of Kentucky who don't know you, how long have you been in that profession and what made you decide to start that journey?
So this year will be my 6th year. Really, it's kind of funny how it happened, but I've done a little bit of everything. Of course, born and raised in Madisonville in a small town, done everything from working restaurants to underground coal mines to when I moved out west, I was actually in a Doritos commercial. So I've had a little bit of experience doing everything. But when I moved back to Madisonville, it hit me one day. I went to get my hair cut and I thought, these guys are standing around cutting up with everybody. You get to talk to new people all day long. You get a pocket full of money. I mean, you get to take cash home every day. It's not like we're getting rich, but you get to take cash home every day. And I just thought, man, what, I'm looking for a career right now. So why don't I just give this a shot? And my mom was a cosmetologist. She didn't work too much. She was a stay-at-home mom, but she was a licensed cosmetologist. So I had a little bit of knowledge of, hair cutting and everything. So I just made a phone call to Bowling Green, Kentucky to Barber College and went down there and met Mr. Cox, older guy. He's actually like a stunt double for Colonel Sanders. He looks just like him. But anyway, I met him and I just fell in love with the idea of getting to be inside, out of the weather, talk to people all day long, have a TV going or music going, and I mean, I get to make a fool of myself dancing and goofing off all day with people. So yeah, that's kind of what led me into this path.
I love that. I love that you're looking around. You're like, oh, they get to cut up all day. And so anybody who follows you on Facebook or follows your business page knows that you love to have fun. And that's kind of what we talked about too, is that, part of Innovate Caffeinate is learning the person behind the business. And you already showcase that very well because you like to have a good time and you're very open and honest and excited about life. And, that's part of what makes people want to come see you at work.
Yeah. I mean, that's in any field. I mean, you hear people say it all the time. Well, if you can't have fun at work, then, and I mean, I take that to the core because, we're only here once. So if we have one life to live and we spend a majority of time at a job or a career field away from our family, I mean, you want it to be enjoyable, not only for me, but also other people that come in and get their hair cut, or you never know what somebody's going through, and on that day or that moment or the phone call they might have got right when they pulled in the parking lot. So yeah, I do. I take it serious, on having fun, making it a joyful environment, but getting the job done at the same time.
So, 2020 has been the year of all years for everybody. We've all had experiencing things that we've never experienced before. But thinking about your 2020, you started out the year, you were working at a different shop. You did not have your own brick and mortar to call your own at the time. 2020 happens, you're working there, and then the pandemic hit. And as a barber, initially you all weren't even eligible for unemployment. You were told to shut down, and that was that. So how did that affect you and your business and what you wanted going forward?
Well, I mean, it was, at first we took it kind of lighthearted. We got word that we were going to have to shut down March 18th, which I believe was a Wednesday at 5 p.m. So the Tuesday before, I mean, we were just kind of like laughing about it. We didn't do nothing wrong. It's like we're getting fired. What are we going to do on Thursday? So we just kind of goofed off and cut up with each other. And then Wednesday happened, and we walked out. We locked up the shop, walked outside, and as we were getting in our trucks, I remember Josh Stevens. I was working with him and Sean McLean, and I just looked over at Josh and I just started laughing. I mean, there was nothing. It was like, what in the world do we do now? And, I have a family of 5. I'm married with 3 kids under the age of 6. So I laughed it off right then and on the drive home. And then that night when I went to bed, I was like, okay, well, I have kids to feed. We had very little. I mean, we're like most families. Like I said, we're not getting rich. So we had some savings, but not much at all. And yeah, that never hit me to think barbers in style. I mean, I'm a, self-employed person. I know that I don't pay unemployment tax, but it's one of those things you just don't think about really, until it hits you. And it kind of threw me into, okay, I started being an entrepreneur when I was little. I had a neighborhood businessman that bought me a lawnmower. Part of the deal was mow his yard, and then whatever else I mowed and made money, I'd make payments to him to pay that mower off and own it. So I immediately went into hustle mode. Like when all this pandemic hit, I was like, all right, got to find a way to make money, whether I got to borrow, whether I got to create something new or just jump into something that exists and get my little piece of the pie. So what I did then is actually I started advertising to deliver food. So I hooked up with El Bracero, was the first one. And I was like, hey, I'm going to deliver restaurant food, groceries, whatever. I'll hit Polly Eyes in Princeton, whatever, so that way I'm helping local businesses. But at the same point, I'm getting a small delivery fee, and that's hustling up money for my family. Well, that worked good. And then we found out that we were going to get unemployment. And as the unknown kind of went up and down, my wife is a diabetic. So she started thinking, oh my gosh, you're delivering to like, 20 people a day. And what if you did bring it home? So I slowly started tapering off the deliveries. I found out that we were going to get saved by unemployment, but it wasn't. What shocked me is, I guess, because we were like the governor stepped in to help, and we were the ones that were at the bottom of the tier, so-called, since we don't pay unemployment tax. So I mean, I got $151 a week for a family of 5. So I was still kind of like, oh my gosh, okay, what am I going to do? Anyway, to piggyback off of that, it made me think about all of the people that have made it in life. You're kind of like rock bottom, and it comes to the poker move. Are you all in, or are you going to fold? And it hit me one day, and I thought, I'm all in. That's it. I've done it before and lost everything. It's fine. But at the time when that happened, I didn't have a wife and kids. So it kind of made it a little bit different. But I just decided that night, hey, I'm all in. Ever since going to barber college, I'd had ideas, kind of bringing back a big city feel to a barbershop, a little bit nicer, not saying other barbershops in town aren't nice, just something a little different, a leather couch and complimentary drinks or whatever. So I started moving forward. gosh, there's been so much happen so quick that it's like I have to kind of like dissect it as I even talk about it. But I made the move. One day I was driving to my mom's house to drop something off, and I happened to see the building for lease. So it actually was a building that I had looked at 5 years ago, right when I got out of school, or right when I had left the first barber shop to go to a second that had more walk-in traffic, and I was still trying to build clientele and all that. So I made the call, and the building had just come open for lease because there was a boutique here, and they had issues with pandemic. I know that she had an existing business, but I guess it was just, kind of time to move on from here. And man, I panicked, but at the same point, I felt it in my heart, like, you've wanted it. When is there going to be another time when you can do this? And not only have everyone else in the world is in the same boat of, okay, what do I do now? Am I going all in or not? And also I knew I'd have time to get the business ready, to paint, to sheetrock, to do, so I knew I had all this spare time anyway. So anyway, yeah, that was crazy. And of course, I talked back to the guys that were at the last barbershop I was at, let them know what was going on. We went our separate ways. Everybody wished each other well, but even still, the uncertainty of, well, we still don't have a date on when we can reopen. So it just kept rolling. And I was like, okay, it's been 4 weeks now, 5 weeks now, 6 weeks, so I don't know. I mean, some days when I sit still for a minute, I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? But at the same point, it's something ingrained into entrepreneurs. And again, I'm not putting myself on it. It's just, I feel like most of the people that are watching this, that tune in to, are innovators, obviously from the title. So they are driven with that little thing, whatever it is. And I don't know. I mean, I've had jobs that I love. I've had bosses that I adore and still stay in contact with. I've tried everything, and I've left a lot of career paths or temporary jobs that I would jump in and feel out, and it wasn't for me. And I let them know it. And a lot of people were like, man, he's had a lot of jobs. But I was just honest. I didn't have a wife or kids at the time when I was kind of feeling myself out. And I thought, well, why am I going to waste my time or theirs? As a business owner now, I want somebody, if they come in here, to be just as passionate as me about not only the path that I chose as a career, but also this location. So, just looking back, I guess that's kind of what I thought towards those other, man, I've got so many thoughts and emotions flowing through my head now, thinking about things. It's crazy that you have called all of this out of me now. And I'm like, process.
See, you were worried you might not have enough to say.
Yeah. I hope everybody's got about 3 hours.
Go ahead.
I hope everybody's got about 3 hours to block out now that you got me going. But no, go ahead.
You're right. You talk about that little thing that entrepreneurs have, and it's funny, every story we hear, it's like, entrepreneurs have been entrepreneurs for years. It may not be in the traditional sense of the word, but you've always been doing something, whether it's mowing lawns, whether it's delivering food, which I'm not going to lie, there are some nights Seth and I are sitting here after dinner, we're like, oh, you think Carr Trice would deliver us a milkshake right now?
Hey, I would.
There might still be a business for that.
I know. I've actually, many people have said that, and actually that was the hard part, actually, because my entrepreneur head was, okay, if there's a sustainable business here, I could still be at the shop running a business, pay somebody to build it, and then eventually it would turn into. So I still do consider, So
yeah. See, there's still the doors are still wide open for you.
Yes.
And thinking about how barbershops and beauty salons had to reopen, I know a lot of places were having to have their employees only work like every other day to limit the number of people. So I almost feel like it's still this incredible opportunity for you, because had you gone back to where you were, you might have had to have done that and still wouldn't have been able to provide for your family in the sense that you needed to do so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and looking at that, I'm sure, of course, I'm sure that they can still work through the filing of unemployment and get assistance, but it's not, it's still not the same. And another thing, and it just sounds, it sounds funny because I am a clown and I'm a barber. I mean, like I goof off, I have fun. I mean, I know people need a haircut seriously, but it's also not an, I don't want to say an art, but it's like my outlet. I mean, being in the shop, to me, it's my wife sometimes will say, well, you have a job that you just adore, so it's different than, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm not saying she doesn't like her job, if you guys are watching. But it's just, I wake up at like 4:45, 5 in the morning. I get my coffee. I start my day doing my stuff around the house, watering flowers, whatever. But I'm like, all right, I open at 9. Let me go. And she'll be like, she'll call me, why did you go to the shop at 7:45? And I'm like, I'm excited to get everything ready for the day. So I don't know. It was so hard to be home for 8.5 weeks without. Now, granted, I was coming down here doing, stuff to get ready for the new shop, but not having the outlet of cutting hair. And to throw into that, it was so funny when I did open back up Memorial Day. My first haircut, I felt like I had a blindfold on, like I'd never cut a hair in my life. Because you get in such a routine, you just do things, second nature. And I feel so sorry for that soul that was my first haircut back. But anyway.
We usually talk about struggles and challenges. And I think, you've already kind of covered that a little bit, that, we know that it's probably been a challenge to open during a pandemic, but what I know you will be great at talking about is, what advice do you have? You jumped in and you said, this is the time. It's either all in or not. And you said, I'm all in. So what advice do you have to other people, other entrepreneurs who are struggling, or people who have ideas and just haven't made that leap yet? What advice do you have for them?
Regardless of what industry, barber, food delivery, network marketing, whatever you're looking at doing right now, have thick skin. That's a must. But also, once you make your decision, don't hesitate. Jump in. Do not wait for once school's out and things calm down, I'll be able to, the kids are at home, I'll be able to jump right in. And no, it's never going to be a perfect time. It really isn't. It's not a perfect world, apparently. Obviously, we see that now. But you have to make the move and jump. And one of my favorite things that, of course, I posted on Facebook, and some people are like, dang, he's stepping on toes. But other people's opinion do not pay my bills. So regardless of, well, he'll hope he makes it, but he never will. Or, there's so many little, it's sad that we live in a time right now where it's almost like, gosh, it's rare to hear somebody be an encourager to entrepreneurs. There's the critic and the just always in your ear. So it's rare for somebody to encourage or to champion you. So yeah, just know that there's always going to be that little chit chat, but as long as you have your focus and that there's that little seed of whatever it is that I was talking about earlier. And once you do, and once you just get just a little taste of success, I don't know, it's throwing gas on a fire. It's fueling. And I'm not saying that like cocky, but yeah, it's just, then you realize, what is, who was it that said the two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day that you discover why you were born. And I wish that wasn't my quote. I don't know who it is. I can't remember at the time. But anyway, that one always stuck out to me too. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I still, I have negative days and struggles and all that. But yeah, for somebody that's going to jump in, that's my 3, sum it up: all in, thick skin, ignore the haters. Haters gonna hate. So yeah, that's my 3 little quick points, I guess you'd say.
I love it. So what's next for Mug and Brush? What are your next steps?
So as of now, it's just I'm the only barber in here. I have a massage therapist, licensed massage therapist that comes in, and Carol Jones. If you've never had a massage from her, you missing out. She will be in this coming week, the 20th, Monday through Friday. But she actually lives out of town. She comes in 1 week a month right now. So the massage therapist has been a hit. The last time she was in was absurd. She got more business than me, and I got mad. No. But also and of course she goes by all of the COVID standards, the sanitation and mask and all that. So, no, don't hesitate there. But once all the COVID stuff, we kind of feel it out and figure out where we're at, kind of starts to settle down. Complimentary drinks are going to be a thing. I haven't been able to do it yet, just for other safety. So water, coffee, sodas, maybe. And then there is a kids room that it's kind of like a kids lounge we're developing right now. So Nerf guns, a big reading nook, books, coloring books, puzzles, flat screen with, PJ Masks and Paw Patrol and all this stuff on 24/7 loop. So, it's the thing I wanted with Mug and Brush. You walk in and there's a leather couch, leather love seat, comfortable area to sit. There is a bar along the wall where I'm sitting. Throw your laptop up, come in an hour early if you got to, or if you just want to, or I don't care if you don't have an appointment at all, just come in and hang out. Internet, charge your laptop, your phone while you're waiting for a haircut. I want you to know that this is a space that you can use, you can be comfortable at. I love when people come just to stop by. We're going to have the complimentary drinks. We got the kids area because I want everybody to know, just because there's a comfortable place out here for mom and dad while they wait, hey, we're catering to the kids just as much. So the drinks for the adults, the kids lounge for them, I want them to know that they are welcome. They can have fun. This is not a come in, sit down, don't bother that, it's not yours. Man, now granted, when you play with it, I'd love for you to pick it back up and put it up when you're done. But if not, it's cool. They're kids, but, pop a couple Nerf darts off, shoot some targets, color a page in a book and then take it home with you. It's supposed to be, to be a fun place to be. Yeah, I don't know. So there's other events too that I'm looking at outside of the barber world. It's such a cool historical building that I'm looking at doing like social events in the evenings. So whether it be something I want to host and just have friends down here because it's a neat spot, or whether it's for a rehearsal dinner, if somebody has to have a place to hang out that night, they can come down here. There's actually a commercial kitchen in the back. So you could have a caterer come in and do the food. You got the drink area and then have the event here, patio outside, Edison lights hanging everywhere. Oh, come on now. So there's a lot of potential and things that we're hoping to grow into, and we're just, I'm all in, but I'm also playing it smart, just kind of walking step by step because of the unknown season we're in right now.
Right. I love that. I love, one of the questions we usually ask too is, kind of what sets your business apart, and you've already nailed that on the head. You know exactly what it is that you want your business to be different, how you want to market it differently. And you're a dad of 3 kids, so that there needs to be a place for those kids to hang out.
That's
so I
right.
think that those are all incredible things. We don't have a lot of time left, but we have a few questions that have come in from Facebook. And
Okay.
so, James, the questions that we don't get to, I encourage you to go back on and look. And James was talking about this historic building too. So for those of you who don't know, it is just right downtown Madisonville. It is across from the historic courthouse.
Yeah,
So
31 East Center Street, 31 East Center Street. So even if you don't, I mean, even if you're not coming for a haircut, seriously, drop in, say hi, you know, bring up Innovate and Caffeinate, ask questions, whatever you got. So
one of the questions that has come in, are you more like Floyd the Barber on Andy Griffith or Calvin in the Barber Shop movie?
no questions asked, Calvin. Calvin. Yeah, that's right.
One of the last question we're going to be able to get to today, because we're coming right up on 9 o'clock, is do you ever receive great advice from your patrons?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the other thing I love about this business. Man, I have people that come in here smelling like chicken, waste right out of the farm to, I've got multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs that have hit it and just, done well with themselves. And I have had great advice from both. I've had great advice from the farmer that comes in right after work, a 16-hour day. And I've had the ones that just got off their boat at the lake, so I always get great advice. I love the fact that we are with people through the highs, the lows, the goods, the bads, deaths, marriages. You get to see from every perspective and hear from every perspective. And it's really funny because you actually get even 3-year-olds that say, you know what would be good is if you had so-and-so. And I'm like, dang, that would be good. Like, okay. So yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Get good advice from patrons.
That's awesome. James, thank you so much for doing this today. Everybody go like James. Go ahead and tell what your Facebook page is for everybody.
So the business is called Mug and Brush, but the Facebook page is under James Carr Trice, the barber, or just my personal page, James Carr Trice, and then I can link you up or hook you up from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this today. Everybody, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching and asking questions. Remember to share this feed. You still have time to share it because people can keep watching it later. Share this feed to be put in for a free bag of Campfire Roasters coffee. And let's see here. If you would like to be a part of our Innovate and Caffeinate community, if you're watching from another part of Kentucky, please reach out to me. My name is Melanie. You can reach me at mtap@westcentralky.com. We would love to have you as part of our team, and tune in next week. So next week we have another event coming up, 8:30, and we want to see you there. So thank you all so much for tuning in today.